Hi, Steve here. Every day while you and I settle into our comfy little house or apartment, concerned about many trivial things, there are children being abused, trafficked, and even killed. But this goes beyond the fact that it's so tragic that it's even happening. But why are so many without any compassion for these children and demanding to see it stopped in 2025? Why do some people seem to hate helping trafficked children? Children trafficking is a massive issue worldwide. The numbers are staggering. Thousands of children go missing every year, and many are forced into situations that no child should ever have to endure.
Electronic devices such as these is what's causing every law agency across Southwest Florida to come together to fight against what State Amir Fox tells me is the biggest threat facing our area: child exploitation. Now, with this task force, these agencies can band together and use different databases to fight these crimes. And when speaking with a victim of child exploitation, she tells me she is glad that policing agencies are keeping this in the forefront.
I realized that my mother would have been considered to be my trafficker.
Tammy Tony Butler is a survivor of child sex trafficking. She tells me she was just a little girl, only in kindergarten, when it happened to her.
She had her own childhood trauma. I do not fault her. I forgave her on her deathbed, and I still love her.
A reaction the CEO, Linda Aberhaus, with the Shelter for Abused Women and Children, says is common. As Tammy shared her story, she tells me she didn't even realize she was a victim until she was older.
Many of them don't even identify as victims of human trafficking. We've had victims who don't even know what trafficking is.
Based on data from the Shelter for Abused Women and Children's website, the average age is 13 years old, and children make up half of the human trafficking victims. State Attorney Amir Fox tells me this is one of the biggest threats in our region.
Children are being exploited. It's very oftentimes children who are being trafficked.
This leads to the Southwest Florida Intercept Task Force, with the goal to use collective technology to fight criminal technology and to stop child pornography and exploitation.
Criminals have no boundaries, okay, but we sometimes do. We're sometimes limited on how we can react, what we can do, and the tools we can utilize.
Our goal is to identify those victims who have been affected, stop the distribution or transmission of videos, photos, and ultimately go back to rescue the original victim.
As for Tammy, she tells me when thinking about her past, forgiveness and her faith have been a guiding light.
There is hope. There is a pathway to healing, and I found it. The chains no longer bind me.
This all came about because of Operation Lightshine, an organization that fights against human trafficking. And when I was speaking with the COO, he tells me that they wanted to provide this funding because they noticed it was a gap when it comes to federal funding when it comes to these type of agencies. This is the third Intercept Task Force that has been created.
It's heartbreaking to think about. And what's even more disturbing is that there are groups and individuals who could make a difference, but seem to turn a blind eye. The issue of child trafficking is complex, with many systemic barriers that prevent effective help. One major issue is the lack of resources and funding for organizations working to combat trafficking. There's often a lack of coordination between different agencies and governments, making it difficult to share information and track down traffickers. The stigma surrounding trafficking can make it hard for victims to come forward and seek help. All these factors combined create a perfect storm that's hard to navigate. Then we have all of the children who have been trafficked and brought up into the United States, many times separated from and without their parents with them. It's clear that child trafficking isn't just a problem for one country or community. It's a global issue that requires a global response. But despite this, there are still many who deny the severity of the problem or refuse to get involved. So what's behind this apathy? Is it a lack of awareness, or is there something more sinister at play? I realize that some people who are watching this video don't believe in God. They don't believe in the devil. They only believe in their five senses. But I'm here to tell you, the reality is, child trafficking is happening in these last days because we are in the end times. Let me show you the scriptures that prove this. The Apostle Paul told Timothy in his last letter to him, "But understand this, that in the last days dangerous times of great stress and trouble will come, difficult days that will be hard to bear. For people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, and profane. And they will be unloving, devoid of natural human affection, calloused and inhumane, irreconcilable, malicious gossips, devoid of self-control, brutal, haters of good, traitors, reckless, conceited, lovers of sensual pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding to a form of outward godliness or religion, although they will deny its power, for their conduct nullifies their claim of faith. Avoid such people and keep far away from them. Did you catch verse 3? Devoid of natural human affection, calloused and inhumane. Only a human being with no natural affection, calloused and inhumane, could do these things to children. They love money more than they love human beings. Some people might be unaware of the issue or feel overwhelmed by its complexity.
Already this year, since January 1st, victim services groups, the family and youth group here in Calcasieu Parish, who does the reporting for us to the state, has already serviced 27 potential victims of human trafficking here in Southwest Louisiana.
17 of which have been confirmed according to local authorities. Officials from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and the Alliance to Fight Human Trafficking in Southwest Louisiana spoke before a luncheon hosted by the Republican Women of Southwest Louisiana on Thursday.
Sex trafficking case in Wilmington. Investigators charged 7 people in connection to Cape Fear escorts, what prosecutors called an illegitimate business used to promote prostitution.
Well, tonight, 2 men behind bars in Palm Beach County accused of trafficking underage girls, forcing them into prostitution.
The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office says the men were using rooms at 3 motels, and CBS 12's Al Peffley joins us live outside one of them, the Barefoot Mailman Motel in Lantana.
Liz, according to sheriff's detectives, the young ladies in this case, all minors, ran away from a group home. They ended up as prostitutes, meeting men for dates at several local motels, including this one.
34-year-old Jamie Figueroa of Boynton Beach went before a judge Tuesday morning, charged with human trafficking for commercial sex activity involving minors. Detectives say Figueroa and 2 other men, 45-year-old Raymond Jean and 35-year-old Antonio Michel, provided drugs including marijuana and crack cocaine to 3 girls and living off their earnings as prostitutes.
But it's all fear-driven. You know, the girls are doing it from fear. Where else am I going to go? What other options do I have?
Becky Diamond is the founder and executive director of Lighthouse Palm Beach County, a nonprofit group that assists women who are coming out of sex trafficking and prostitution. She says cases like this are heartbreaking.
It's not a surprise, but it's very sad. In the United States, the average entry age for a woman into sex trafficking is 13 and trending younger.
According to the arrest report, Michelle would rent rooms at 3 motels, the Stay Inn in Boynton Beach, Tiki Hut in Boynton Beach, and the Barefoot Mailman in Lantana. The arrest report says the girls had sexual intercourse in exchange for money and food. Figueroa not only allegedly engaged in sex with the minor females, but also allegedly derived support from the proceeds of their prostitution.
Hello.
We decided to go to the motels to see what they have to say.
Why are you allowing prostitutes to come in here and conduct their business in your motel?
I don't know. They are not coming. Anybody?
Well, the sheriff's office says they are. In fact, it's spelled out in an arrest report we've got right here.
The employee at the front desk at the Stay Inn says they don't rent rooms for prostitution.
According to the sheriff's office, your motel is being used as a location for prostitution? What do you have to say about that? It's right here in black and white on the arrest report. It says your motel is being used for people engaging in commercial sex trade.
No, sir, we don't do that.
Others are influenced by societal, political, or economic factors that make it hard for them to care. For instance, human trafficking often involves powerful networks and interests that benefit from the exploitation of children. Challenging these interests can be dangerous, and that's why many people choose not to get involved. One story that really stands out is a young girl who was trafficked for years before she was finally rescued. Her experience is a harsh reminder of the human cost of indifference. She was forced into labor and endured unspeakable abuse. But her story also shows the resilience of the human spirit. Her bravery in speaking out has inspired others to take action. The consequences of indifference are real and they're devastating. Every day that we delay, more children are suffering. It's time for us to wake up and take action. We need to hold those in power accountable and demand that they do more to protect our children. Child trafficking is a huge issue that requires immediate attention and action. If you hate this as much as I do, I encourage you to find some of the people that are fighting it in real time and support them. I have some links of very reputable and reliable organizations helping to fight trafficking toward the bottom of our website under special links. It's on the front page of thinkaboutit.online. Share this video with your friends and family to help spread awareness. Thanks for watching and keeping the conversation going.